rear delt, back, and forearm day, we are going to have an incredible workout. What am I having? Creatine, Gorilla Mode Lightning pre-workout, and some protein before the gym. Oh, and also some liquid IV.
Shoulders. All right, we're doing a little bit of shoulders, a little bit of back, a little bit of forearms. It's kind of a weird day, just like more so the posterior, some forearms, whatever, you get what I'm saying. But we're gonna start off with the rear delt fly. I'm gonna go really heavy today. I haven't done this in a while though, so we'll see how it feels. But like I said, haven't done it in a while, so I'm gonna try to make sure it feels good. Last time I started really amping up the intensity on this, I messed up my collarbone a little bit, but I've had more than enough time to recover since then, so we'll see what happens. But eventually I want to be doing more than the full stack on this, so let's see what happens. All right, I don't know if you guys can see, but it's on the full stack right now. Super heavy. All right, that actually, listen, it didn't move too great, but it moved better than I thought it would. And yeah, let's do another set. That feels really good. You know, if you guys are trying to amp up your progressive overload, don't be afraid to get some cheating in. I talk about this pretty consistently in my videos, but dude, I'm serious when I say you're probably not gonna progress to the best of your ability if you're too afraid to put a little bit of gusto into the weight you're lifting, okay? Sometimes if you're trying to hit a PR, all right, it's not always gonna be the easiest thing in the world. Sometimes you have to gain new ground and you have to push and get your foot in the door. So with that said, I don't think I've ever done the full stack on rear delt flies. Maybe like once or twice, a couple times, but if I did, it was with much worse form, you know, and that was a while ago. But I'm doing it again, first time back, because even though I thought maybe there's a chance I can, and obviously I'm trying to be safe and everything. I'm not trying to go, oh, I'm just gonna do all the weight in the gym and injure myself. You know, there's a couple components to it, right? There's being too safe, and then there's being not safe enough. I feel like most people fall into the too safe category. And again, I don't believe in doing a weight that you literally think you are completely unable to do. But like I said, I believe in gaining new ground, pushing your limits a little bit, little by little every session. I'm not asking for you to do 20, 30-pound jumps, just like 1%, 2%, whatever, each session. Increase a little bit, and over time, you do that for a year straight, you look back on your progress, you're way bigger. So with that said, eventually when I get a gym pin and I'm able to put, you know, extra weight on the stack, not just, you know, the extra 10 or maybe even just an extra plate, but I'm able to put on 2 plates, 3 plates, whatever. My rear delts are gonna be huge by then. So anyway, let's get to the set. We're gonna put it on 120 and just focus on moving it nice and just better in general, right? Time and a place for everything. Well, not everything, right? There's certain things you just shouldn't do in life, but there's a time and a place for a lot of different techniques and a lot of stuff in the gym. While I do believe in horsing the weight around, I also believe in strict form to an extent. And by strict, I don't mean, you know, featherweight form, you know. I'm talking about, okay, if I'm gonna horse the weight, I'm gonna commit to horsing it the same way every time with just a little more weight or an extra rep or 2 reps or however much you can do, right? Again, it's about doing better every session. All right, I'm trying a different seat adjustment. This is probably the last set I'm gonna do, but I guess before it might have been more like a rowing angle than a rear delt fly. So we'll see what happens. I mean, maybe I'll like it, maybe I won't, but if it feels like it isolates my rear delts a little better, then we'll stick with it. It was all right. All right, boys, we got a little bit of a weird angle here. I mean, most angles I do are pretty weird, to be honest, but I'm gonna try to just do some heavy wrist curls. Go for maybe 100, see how many reps I can get. Grow these forearms a little bit. You could argue that because I didn't do any wrist curls before this, probably wasn't warmed up. Low key, a little bit of a lack of stability. The dumbbell is getting so big that it's like clipping into the bench. So that's one unexpected fault of wrist curls. I might start doing them on my leg. We'll see. So I'm gonna try that knee variation, because like I said, the dumbbell clipped into the bench too much. So the knee variation seemed to actually work really well. It'll take some getting used to for sure, but let's try it. God, it's so unstable. A little annoying. Half my energy was spent setting that up. Let's just go lighter. Well, it was just gonna work out. It was like, remember how I was talking about that? So I was gonna did a few less reps on this, but that's just because I started to feel my elbow a little bit. So probably a little bit more of a learning curve than I thought with this knee variation, but makes these feel like they're not worth it when you get that elbow pain for real. But they are, make no mistake. I still do them, so just a matter of you got to make sure you're mitigating any injury, inflammation, pain, all that stuff that could be holding you back just from your form, you know? That's kind of why I like the bench variation so much, because you're essentially getting a pain-free or almost pain-free type of movement there. So what I might even do is go on the edge of the bench, because if I go on the edge up to a corner, you know, the dumbbell won't get all weird. So as always, I hope the angle's good. I'm gonna try warming up and maybe checking if the angle's good afterward. But boys, we're gonna do a lat bias T-bar row today. I usually always grab the high handles, so you know, going up here for your mid traps and everything, or just your traps in general, you know. But I'm gonna try grabbing the low handles today and just really focusing on getting my lats involved. And if I'm trying to get my lats involved, I'm gonna stay in the contracted position the majority of the lift, because again, I reiterate this in most of my back related videos, the lats have pretty poor leverage above 90 degrees. It doesn't mean that they can't benefit from stretch, but you gotta get the humerus down a little bit to see some really hefty activation, and the lats tend to perform really well, have high motor unit recruitment in those contracted positions. So that's what I would go for if I was you. All right, let's see. Didn't even realize my lats were still a little sore, bro. Holy crap. We'll just do one set. How you feeling? And he's still here. All right, boys. That wraps up today's workout. I'm gonna go hit the posing room while the pump is still good. And yeah, that was a solid set of rows. I guess I'll just talk about that for a minute. That felt really freaking nice, like really awesome. And it's more of a shortened position type of row, which means that it's not nearly as fatiguing as a lat pull down, for example. So I can get away with doing this and not seeping over into my back days as much. So definitely excited about that. It felt really good. I definitely found my groove on these. Usually they feel really difficult, really weird, but like I said, found my groove, found a way to actually pull and kind of really my groove. This won't make sense to you unless you are actually familiar with training, unless you've been doing it for a decent amount of time. But if you have, you'll know what I mean when I say you find your groove, you find an angle that feels right, a grip that feels right, a certain hand placement, wrist rotation, whatever, and it'll feel better. So anyway, felt good. Let's go downstairs. All right, boys. I'm enjoying myself today. The pump is really good. And I'll tell you this, my legs actually don't look too bad. They look pretty like they're evening out. So for a while, I mean, I was always focusing, I still am focusing on my left leg to try to bring it up, right? Because it's a little bit different looking than my right. Probably not even enough for you to notice in this lighting, but my outer quad here is slightly bigger than here. So, but calves are looking decent. Not too great, but still decent. All right. Oh, let's see that. That's not too bad. All right, I don't want to lose this pump, so let's run through the mandatories. There comes a time in every lifter's journey where they look better with a tank top than without one, and that's pretty much during any bulk. We had the Jay Cutler headband on today, guys, if you didn't notice.